Hi, we're the K3, and this is our very first standalone movie review for one of the probably the most famous Korean movies ever, Parasite.
Definitely most talked about.
We're definitely jumping in. It's probably going to be nominated for either the first time Korea is nominated for the international Oscar, or they're also talking about it being just nominated for straight up best film.
Right.
So it's huge.
Because it won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. This is a huge film, and it's huge for the Korean film industry.
Absolutely.
So,
and it is with director Bong Joon-Ho, who has...
Snowpiercer.
Did he do Okja?
Okja, both on Netflix.
Yep.
He did Mother with your favorite Kim Hae-ja.
Yes. And Memories of a Murder, which I need to watch because they just caught that serial killer.
Yes, they did.
And I need to watch that one because I'm super into that.
Based on
sure.
that was based on true events?
And also starring Song Kang-Ho, who is in Parasite.
And he's in all of them.
He's in all of them.
He's in all of them. He's in Snowpiercer. He's in all of them. He's all of them. So, what...
The host.
Oh, the host. Yeah, he was in the host as well.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we love, if you're new to our channel, we love Korean dramas. We review Korean dramas as they're airing, and we love Korean films and love talking about them as soon as we see them because we're lucky enough to live in Los Angeles. A lot of them come through. But Parasite is one that is going to be just, it's a global thing.
Yeah.
It's
and it's being promoted just even like stateside so much that we think that a lot of people who are maybe not familiar with Korean entertainment or the style of what they do are going to go see it and maybe kind of wonder what's going on. So we just kind of wanted to just kind of go over a couple of key points that if you haven't seen Parasite yet and you're jumping over here and checking out what we have to say before you go see it. A couple of things to know. One, Korean films are long.
They're long, yeah.
They are
long. You get your money's worth.
Yes.
For
like,
sure.
what is this one clocking at 2.5?
220?
Yeah, something like that.
That's pretty standard, even for comedies.
Right.
Yep.
So make sure you use the bathroom before you go in. Know that if you get a really large beverage, you're probably going to have to figure out how to race out of there very quickly.
Because you do not, you don't want to miss a minute
Not for this one.
No,
not at all.
I
would recommend maybe going in with a very small beverage. Small or none.
I like your very pragmatic tips.
I'm just saying, I'm a girl who uses the bathroom a lot, and so I had to manage it really well because I knew it was about to happen. Because and then we had a talk back as well, so I really had to manage my time.
Yeah.
So they're long, so just know that before you go in. Second of all, they're also very genre busting.
Yes, this is not just a mystery or not just a Black social satire. It's not. It's not a comedy. It's all of those.
All of those things.
Put them all in together.
Yes.
And that's very typical of Korean films.
Like a lot of Korean films, you'll be watching what you think is like a buddy cop film, and then all of a sudden take a hard left into human trafficking. Like it happens.
Midnight Runners.
You just have to, you have to get ready for that, and so just know that that's what's going to happen. This movie's going to be, you think it's going in one direction, and then all of a sudden it goes.
And
it may or may not come back.
Yeah.
And for this film,
so full disclosure, I have not seen this film. I'm so intrigued, but I'm a little scared.
Well, knowing your taste, I think it might be a little too much for you.
Okay.
But I think just from the what do you call it? Like the cultural
standpoint,
you should film this is gonna be
a game changer.
It is exactly
it's a game changer,
and because it's such an internationally just applauded film.
Yes,
that it's huge. So I would go see it for that, but know full well that it's definitely not your genre.
Lots of chocolate lined up for afterward.
Exactly.
And perhaps
a
blankie.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd say, I mean. It's not scary in that respect.
I'm just super sensitive, so the tone of anything is something I will absorb. But if I know that going in, and plus I am so interested, so.
Okay, so moving on. All right, so let's talk about our actors. And with that being said.
By the way, just so you know.
Just FYI.
FYI.
Korean names, last name is first. And.
As they are in China, Japan.
And
which is most Asian countries.
Just so you should know.
It's just something you know. Yes. Because the woman who was very excited and clearly loved the film and was so excited to be helming the talkback, called everyone by their last name.
Just their last name, not like a Mr. or Ms.
Just by their last name.
And he is director Bong. But if you are going to address Song Kang-Ho, Song is not the way to address him. No.
Or our Pak So-dam.
Pak So-dam.
You don't say, hey, Park. So it's
Wow,
No.
did she?
yes.
She really thought that was
And
the
you'll
first
see
thing.
other interviews here on YouTube, you know, and that's what's happening. But just so you know, often if you're you're speaking to someone,
Exactly.
you use all three names.
Use their full name.
Their full name.
Yes. Or you use a very specific Korean modifier, which you wouldn't. I would not expect
As a form of
as a form
respect.
of respect.
Yes.
It's kind of the equivalent of Mr. or Mrs.
Right.
Or their title.
Right.
And we're just passing this along because culturally, people, let's be better.
Yes.
Like we should just know these things. Like
Yeah.
if you're going to be doing this in an international community, know the customs of the people that you are interviewing. It was taking a simple Wikipedia search to figure out that Korean names are surname first.
Right.
Anyway,
Yes.
with that being said,
Yes. So our actor, Song Kang-Ho,
oh, and
who
he's in
played
all of them.
the head of the Kim family. So this is tough because
We're starting to get into like dicey waters.
Yes,
To
and-
spoil or not to spoil.
exactly
Oh.
because the journey and the surprises of watching this film are what make it so juicy and delicious and unbelievably amazing. So
It looks like it has a lot of twists and turns potentially.
It does. And the thing that I will
Surprises.
say about this, and if you're watching this now, you've probably already heard all of the hype and you're wondering what our thoughts are on it. We are going to get to our spoiler thoughts after this, but if you're just trying to decide if it's a movie for you want to know more, know this. Know as little as possible going into the film. That is we could end the review right there because that is really, I was so worried that I was going to get spoiled and that it would ruin and I think it would have.
Which is why you wanted to see
Yes.
it early on.
Yeah.
I
mean,
mean, and
still-
I'm okay because of my sensitivities being
Sure,
spoiled.
absolutely.
So we have two families.
Two families.
We have the Kim family who basically live in a sewer.
Right.
They are fighting to survive
Yes.
and using every con they can. And then we have the Pak family. So who are the wealthy family.
Yes. Completely the opposite end of that spectrum.
Yes.
And those are two of the most common surnames in Korea, right?
They are, but I know
Yeah.
that doesn't have
Yeah,
anything
that
to
doesn't
do
play
with
into
the
that.
story.
I wasn't
Yeah.
sure if that was part of
Nope.
the social commentary.
No. This is tricky. I don't know what
It's
to
so
say
hard.
without.
I think just to give you the basic construct of what the story is essentially the Kim family infiltrates, for lack of a better word, through their own con games, the Pak family. And it's what happens when people are parasitic, hence the title,
Yes.
on all each other.
Yes.
Like it's all about people, we all feed off of each other for whether you're high status, low status, same status. Like there's a
Symbiotic?
it's not even symbiotic.
No,
it's more
it's
of a
parasitic.
It's a parasitic. I am feeding off of you to get
Yes.
something from you, and that's just I think.
And
which
so
doesn't
this is what
benefit the
happens.
other.
Right. So
Yeah.
this is what happens when they all end up in the house together,
Yes.
and that house is a character in itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I would say the foundation that director Bong lays through every relationship and through really almost every line sets you up for this shift that happens in the film, because you start it as thinking one thing and when it ends you are in a completely different place, and I came out of the film going, how did he do that?
Right?
How
Yeah.
did this happen? It
Yeah.
was
It was crazy
Yeah,
good. It's just you have to see it, and we don't want to give away too many spoilers.
But there are some actors in here who we've seen in a lot of
Numerous
K-dramas
things, yeah.
and a lot of K-films.
Yeah.
So Song Kang-Ho, who's in every director Bong film, and some other big ones that he's done are A Taxi Driver, The Age of Shadows with Gong Yoo.
Yes, that was
That was the one you
that
were
was the one I
trying-
was
yeah.
trying to think of the other day.
Yeah, and a really wacky one called The Good, the Bad, the Weird with Lee
haven't seen that
Byung-hun
one.
and
I've heard mixed
Jung Woo-sung.
I've heard mixed reviews about
nice.
that.
It's
Some
an older
people,
fi-
I have not seen it. But
Oh,
some
it's a
people who have.
spaghetti western, but done in Korea.
Korean
It's
style.
Nice.
it's fantastic. It's so good. And then Jung Hae-jin plays his wife.
I have not seen her before.
Neither have I.
But we did a quick search when we were at the movie. She's going to be in Crash Landing of Love
With Han Bin and Son Ye-jin.
Very excited
So
about
that's
that.
a K-drama that's going to be
Yes,
coming
yes.
to a
super.
streaming service.
She was so good.
She was amazing.
She was-
oh my God. Oh,
She was fantastic.
her con.
Oh.
So good. And then Choi woo-shik, who plays really our kind of main protagonist, the son.
He's the son.
Shout out. You're from my hometown.
Oh.
He grew up in Vancouver.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So awesome for you.
Well done.
You make smart choices,
Yay.
my
Yes, you
young
do.
man.
And then,
The great Pak So-dam, really rising
Oh.
ingenue. I mean, yeah, she was
great too. She was
that scene near the end with the cigarette.
right.
Her attitude
was
so
fantastic. Though I
great.
have to say, it doesn't give a spoiler away, but when she enters the house and her and her brother like run
do
through,
the
they do the and they like rattled off there.
Yes, so they're in sync.
Yeah, so they're in sync. So they know exactly what the story is. I was like,
done.
it was so good.
well
So
done.
their
so well
so
done.
their lives are lined
Yes,
up.
Yes,
yes,
yes.
It was
Oh my gosh.
fantastic.
And then we have the Pak family. Lee Sun-kyun, who plays
Oh.
Mr. Pak.
I love him so much.
So if you want to look for a
So much.
classic K-drama, Coffee Prince.
Oh
This is
yes,
second male lead.
Uh-huh.
Oh
So
my
this is
gosh.
a thing in K-dramas. First male lead, second male lead. same
Especially
for
in
female.
the romantic comedy
Yeah, of
genres.
course.
Yeah.
So he's in that.
I like him so
And
much.
Maya Ajushi.
Yes. And he was,
Another huge one.
yeah, he was in that one too.
Yeah.
And then he's actually married to one of our favorites.
Yes, he
in real life. In real life, he's
is.
married to our favorite CEO over in
From
Search
www.
www.
Another great show.
I love them so much.
And the wife is played by Cho Yo-jung. She is, she's a beautiful actress.
She was the wife in The Crazy Woman in the Mrs. Perfect that our one puppy was from.
Oh yes.
I was stunned. I'm
The
like,
one
why
with-
does she look so
the
familiar?
one faking
so
the
good.
injury?
Yes.
Oh.
She can do wacky
crazy.
really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But she can also do tragic. She was
Yeah.
in The Servant.
Oh, that's
Which
right.
is a beautiful film. And also Concubine, which is that's a
that's
tough one
right.
to watch. But
Yeah.
she is.
I thought I
Oh,
really
man.
enjoyed her in this in the fact that yes, she was, and they called her on it a few times that she was naive and really gullible. But she played it, but you never were mad at her about it.
No,
like
and
she
that's the
nothing.
thing.
No, you weren't mad at anybody really.
No.
And that's what was fascinating
Yes,
about this whole
Because
story.
it's not a clear good guy,
No.
bad guy. Who are you cheering for? Who are you rooting on?
Yeah.
Like everybody in different moments.
Yeah,
So
it was
Sounds
The-
like everyone had their justification
absolutely.
as a
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, it was.
So,
It was
yeah.
If you
fantastic.
understand that, then
So I think we are getting into
likely to
spoiler territory.
well,
so
we have a couple more.
Oh, okay.
Another actress to talk about, Lee Jung-yun.
Oh my god, I love her.
Oh.
She's a powerhouse in everything.
Yes, she is such a key player. Well, they all are.
Yeah.
They really all are. Oh, but my goodness. Because you think she's just the housekeeper. But if you've watched K-dramas, then
Oh.
you know she is always...
She's never just
She's
anything.
there's no such thing as
anything.
just the housekeeper.
Yes.
Yes.
Especially not when it's Lee
She was
Jung-yeon.
amazing. And then we have a little cameo.
Cameo, which I have to say, and I will stand by this. I felt, and I'm glad it was at the beginning. 'cause
Yes.
It did take me out of it a little
Is it
bit.
distracting?
It was Pak
Pak
So-jun.
So-jun.
Pak So-jun.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Huh.
So he sets all of this in motion.
Yeah. And
Really?
he is such a huge star, especially in
Superstar,
K-dramas.
one of the best looking
Yeah.
actors you'll ever meet. And
And
so a pivotal role, cameo.
right. And they
But
do it.
yes.
They do it a lot in Korean drama, so I'm used to it. But because it was Pak So-jun, I kept waiting for.
Because you notice him.
Yes, you don't.
are.
He's not. He's not
He's a
someone that you
presence.
just
Yeah.
expect. Here, take my tutoring gig and blah blah blah.
Yes.
And I'm off to the States. Like, oh, okay, random human English teacher. Like, you don't. That's not what
Huge
you.
megastar.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know it's Pak So-jun. Like, they didn't even try to make him not look Pak
I
So-jun.
know, that's
Like, they didn't even give him the,
The
shaggy
glasses?
hair and the glasses.
Oh,
like
no, no,
nothing.
no.
Like they
He-
did the swept back hair
Full
and
on
the well.
Pak
Like the
So-jun,
whole.
yes.
It was perfect.
Yes.
And so
Designer
I found that it was just, for me personally, it was a little bit like, oh, like I was expecting him to be more key than he was, even though I do know the conceit of them using these as cameos.
Right, and I was wondering if he was going to come back because
Right.
you feel like it's the director saying, notice this
Yes.
person and what he's saying.
Uh-huh.
So,
So yeah, that was,
Yeah.
but that was so yeah.
yes.
Okay.
All right.
Well, if I'd known that from the start, maybe I would have sucked it up to begin with.
Right.
Ah.
Just teasing.
Okay.
Where do we go now, Jen?
I think we go into spoilers now.
Okay.
Spoilers.
All right.
So here's
Give you a chance to pause.
so right, big old spoiler banner.
Yeah.
What did you think of the ending?
It was like being punched in the gut
Right?
over and over and over again.
It was just tragedy compounded by tragedy compounded by tragedy.
Compounded by incredulity.
Right?
like, is this really happening?
Right?
Is this how it ends? Is this where the father ends up? It was like, holy crap. But it was so perfect. It
So
made
perfect.
absolute sense
Yeah.
that this is where he ends up in the house, but he's trapped in
He's
there.
trapped, so he's in prison anyway.
Yes, he's in prison.
He's in prison of his own making.
Yes. And the thing that he aspired to, that he wanted to bring his family up to live and have this kind of life,
Right.
and that his son is still fixated on that,
Right.
like, I am going to, this is the life I'm going to lead.
I'm now going to have a plan
Right.
to do it, to make enough money to buy the house so you can walk out of the basement.
Yes.
Because the whole thing is there's this hidden room in the basement.
Yeah.
That we find out
It's a bomb shelter.
Yeah, midway this is the big turn. You find out that the housekeeper that has been displaced, who was played by Lee Jung-un, has been displaced by our main mom because all of the family displaces each of the different jobs.
Yes.
And so mom displaces the housekeeper that has been there for decades.
Who was there with the original architect. Yes.
So
she came with the house.
Yeah, she basically came with the house. And so we find out when the Pak family moves in, because of how bad the economy is, that her husband was having some problems with debtors. And so she moved him into the bomb shelter of the house.
Yeah, to escape the thugs.
No one knew.
Yes, so he's been living there for 4 years. So then the Kim family... family, through their series of cons, and displacing all of the other staff, they are now, all 4 of them are in the house.
Are in the house.
Yes, working. And taking advantage of the Pak family, who were, a little off the wall.
Yeah.
And very wealthy, and expect things to be a certain way.
And they have that wealthy entitlement that comes along with
their
it.
staff.
Yeah,
This is their staff. Of course, they live here at our
and they aren't
call.
bad. They're not bad or mean or cruel.
But they have
They're just-
expectations.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so I found it really, just the fact that he ended up in jail anyway.
Yeah.
But in a jail of his own making.
Yes.
It's kind of a mind fuck, really.
Yes.
That you walk out kind of going, oh.
That's
Do you
kind
think?
of cool?
Yeah.
So the torrential rain,
Storytelling.
Yeah.
the torrential rain and the flood that happens. The metaphor there is what? Because that is what carries them into this place where they end up trapped.
Right.
Yeah. Is it?
What do you mean it carries them into the place of being trapped?
Well, because because he smells a certain way, because they basically, the sewage that floods them.
No, absolutely.
So that carries them, that propels them into this place where everything ends violently.
Oh, it does propel them there, but it doesn't propel them into the house. So I metaphorically found the rain and the flooding to kind of represent a greed of sorts.
That they're completely consumed.
That the Kims kind of, it's kind of like you kind of overplayed your hand.
Yeah.
And you got popped back. Like kind of when you're gambling and you're on a winning streak and then you start betting bigger and bigger and bigger and you keep trying to recoup that money.
Oh.
Like I felt like
They bet too big.
they bet too big.
Yeah.
Like instead of just taking 1 or 2 of the
Should've cashed in
spots,
their chips.
they took all 4 spots. And had they just had they just walked away from the table, leaving the housekeeper, they would have been fine.
Yeah.
They could have gotten
They
they could have changed their
That's
lives.
right. It was plenty of money.
But they overplayed their hand to take all of it.
yes.
And so that's kind of how I saw the flood. Is kind of the flood because that's when they finally got out of them. They got because they get trapped because the family comes home early. It's a cluster.
Yeah.
And so they finally get out of the house and they're like, "Shoo, thank God."
Yes. It's
and then
pouring with rain. They get to their own home. Their poverty-stricken alley is just flooded. It's literally they're wading through sewage.
Yeah. Like they're wiped out.
Yes.
Wiped
It's
out.
taken everything. But that rock that Pak Seo-joon had given them,
Which is
that's supposed to bring them wealth,
and it
floats
did.
up. It did bring them wealth.
It did bring them wealth, but how do you? And I think at least this is how I looked at it. Like, how do you use that wealth?
Right.
And and that was kind of what I like. Yes, the Paks had it, and the Kims came and took some of it.
Yeah.
But it didn't take anything really away from the Paks' wealth. They still had wealth.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of how how you manage it kind of
take
like
care of that rock?
Yeah, so it's kind of like kind of sort of like the rock.
But they got too greedy. That's exactly what it is.
I feel like
yeah.
that like, and it's not that they weren't. And I think that was my biggest conflict. The Kims, it's not that I don't feel like the Kims were not entitled to good jobs and good money.
Yeah.
But the way they acquired it was so, it was so shady.
It was so
that
shady.
It was that you kind of weren't rooting for them, but you were.
Right.
And so it was just, it was
and then
so
they turned so violent.
Yes.
They turned so violent
To keep it.
To keep it. Yes. And this happened so
fast.
So fast.
And then you
Yeah.
got the original housekeeper, who is
Lee
Lee Jung-yoon.
Yeah.
And all she wanted to do was get her husband, and just all she asked them to do was just feed him every 4 days or once a week.
Yes.
Just so because I got kicked out of the house so fast that I couldn't even make plans.
And the thing is, Pak So-dam was going down there to feed him. She was going to do that, and she's the one who ends up dying.
yeah.
He kills her, so it's so...
Oh, yeah.
wow.
So
This
great.
film.
It was nuts. It was
Yes.
bonkers times 10. And so that's
Sounds
what we're saying. Like,
interesting.
if you watched it, I would love to hear your feedback as to
Yes.
what your
Yeah.
thoughts were and what the
Comment
allegories
below.
were, or what the, or what what you thought the rock represented, or
Yes.
any of that. But if you haven't watched it, God, I hope you didn't get spoiled.
Oh, I know.
Or if you did, I hope you go and
Yes.
watch it
I'm
anyway
gonna
to
go
see.
now I'm
Okay.
thoroughly intrigued.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yes.
gonna
It
bolster
was-
up and go.
Because director Bong makes a lot of films about classism
Yes.
and class differences, and this film is it is such a ride.
It's
It is
such a ride.
So the social commentary is huge, but is done in such a filmic, entertaining way
Yeah.
that you come out of there just like, frankly,
You
just
go along
breathing
with it.
heavy. Oh my God.
I couldn't tell you last time I was in a movie where I was like, oh my God.
I know.
Woo.
I know.
Yeah, I was completely freaked out the entire time.
I know.
It's not like we're wrapping up, but we're not, because I have 2 questions for you. One, I thought the young boy, the son, was
Yeah.
going to be far more integral into whatever was going on than he was.
So did
In the
I,
Park
and I'm
family
glad.
or in
the Park family.
Park family.
Park
And I'm
family.
glad he wasn't,
Yeah.
because I don't particularly enjoy it when like big plot turns hinge on a child who is differently abled.
Right. No. I guess it wasn't
yeah.
even so much that, but the fact that he had seen the guy come up from the basement, which traumatized him as a young
Yes.
boy. So he's already seen all of these
Yeah.
things. Like, I expected him to. Poor kid's been traumatized.
Oh my gosh.
So all of the murders and all of the death and destruction occurs on his next birthday.
Birthday
So
party.
he's never going to have a birthday again.
Right.
But I thought that he, like, I Director Bong, like, I really appreciate the fact that they kept like offering up that kind of like dangled
and
it,
then it was like,
and it was like,
no.
oh no,
Oh no, you
No.
cannot anticipate
You
what's going to
can't.
happen.
Like,
and,
and that's what it probably
That's
was.
what it
But
is,
it was
yeah.
one of those things where we're so conditioned. We're like, oh, the kid saw this, and he
figured
does
it
this,
out,
and
you
he
know?
knows Morse code, and like all these little nuggets that Director Bong was laying down.
Yeah.
I thought for sure the kid was going to at least do something. Oh no, he
No.
was just there as a tragic figure.
And that's what's amazing, because thanks to places like Netflix, we in general, this is a complete generalization, we consume a lot of films,
Right.
and we consume a lot of foreign films. And so this film is, you are not more clever than the director
No.
and the writer.
No, not in this one at
No.
all.
Mm-mm.
Because it is. I mean, it's an exceptional film. I'm not
is.
sure it's one I could sit through more than once, but I highly, highly recommend definitely going to see it.
What's your second thing? Your second
Oh,
comment?
my second one
question.
was the daughter, the Pak daughter,
Oh,
and
The wealthy family
the
daughter.
wealthy
over-
family's
the-
daughter,
the
the over-sexualized
oversexed,
young daughter.
teenager.
Again, as a parasitic relationship, she took what she wanted.
Yes.
But again, it kind of ties back into the Pak So-joon thing, where he already had an inappropriate relationship with her, and then our main boy then
Yeah,
ends up
Choi
having
woo-shik.
another inappropriate relationship with her.
Yeah.
And again, taking a million steps back, I get it, but while watching it, it was one of those things where it was almost distracting because I understood the parasitic relationship, but at the time, she's so young and they're so much older, like that seemed like a separate story and unto itself.
Is that part of the commentary?
Not even,
No,
I think it's
well,
part
I
of the part
think
of
it's
commentary,
that-
yes, but.
I get it, because now Choi Woo-shik is like, I could be in this family. I
Right.
want to be part of this family, if I build this relationship with her. So,
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely feeding the idea that every character in this film is a parasite.
And now that I've taken a few steps back, I do see that.
Yeah.
But while watching it, I was like, why
are they getting it on?
What is happening right now?
Yeah.
You're like 22 and she's 16. Like, what is happening? Like, it was a little bit jarring to me. But now taking a few steps back, I was wondering if you experienced the same thing.
Yeah.
At the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At the time?
At the time?
I don't know. I had so many thoughts leaving the film.
Right? Oh my God, so many
My
thoughts.
head was just racing.
Yeah. But it was so good.
It was incredible.
Seriously, if you have not seen it, go see it. If you have seen it, tell us what your thoughts are. And if you had the same kind of thoughts that we did, or if you had some new one that we haven't thought of yet, let us know. We're the K3. I'm Jen.
I'm Karen.
I'm Marisa.
And if you're interested in seeing what we think about K-dramas and the television land, you can check out any of our weekly watch lists here. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Respect.